Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. And one of the things that I think a lot of developers take for granted, and a lot of people who are like new to the programming space take for granted, is the whole idea of Markdown. That's these .md files. So when you go to GitHub repos and you see these pages, these are done via MD files, these Markdown files. So this one doesn't say much, but if I go to the main one, see it has all this documentation and detail in it. This is not written in like Word or text. It's not done in HTML. It's done in what's called Markdown. So the purpose of this video is just to kind of teach you how to write a Markdown file. On GitHub, always the default one is called readme.md, but it's the .md extension that tells GitHub that it's an MD file, a Markdown file. So I'm going to open up VS Code. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. So we'll just call this test.md, because again, it's not the name of the file. It's not about readme. The word readme doesn't make it a Markdown file. It's the .md that makes it a Markdown file. Okay, and basically what it is kind of like a weird sort of stripped down formatting language for creating documentation. So for example, and the cool thing about using Visual Studio Code is you can open it up in preview mode. So if I right click a Markdown file, I can open up preview mode so I can see what it looks like here. So usually the pound signs are like different, like think of like H1 through H6. So one pound sign is like an H1 for a title. So this is my title. Okay, so see, there you go. Now 2, again, that's going to be like an H2. This is a smaller title. Okay, so see, this is a smaller title. Okay, very nice. So you can create all sort of your different sections. And then if you want to emphasize certain things, like let's say here's some words. Here is some words. Right now, they're just normal text. What I can do is I can put one asterisk around them. Let's see what happens. Oh. Okay, let's see. Makes it italics. So see, now it's like italics. Now if I put two asterisks around them, now it's bold. Okay, cool. So formatting's not too crazy. Now let's say I want to put some code. What you do is you use 3 backticks. Now the code could be in many different languages, so you can specify the language by writing like JavaScript here. So if I write JavaScript here, it'll automatically show the colors as if it were JavaScript. So I can be like console.log hello world. Okay, but see, if I take off the word JavaScript there, that'll see it turns into just white text. Okay, so it just looks a little bit more colorful when it knows what language it is. And you can do pretty much any language. I'm not sure if all the main ones are there. So if I do Ruby and I do like puts hello world, that works. So let's try Python. Python also works with HTML and CSS. Python, so if I were here, write print hello world. Okay, so it'll work. And again, if you don't have the word there, let's take a look at how it looks. Okay, and see, it creates those little code blocks, which is pretty nice. Okay, so those are the basics. Like those are like my go-tos, what I use most of the time. Let's take a look at some other Markdown syntax. Okay, so let's take a look at a Markdown syntax guide. Okay. Okay, so we talked about headings. Okay. Talked about all that. Enters are just enters. Okay. Line breaks, that all works pretty much normally. What I'd like to find, we talked about bold. Talked about italics. Okay. Block quotes, let's talk about block quotes. So if I wanted to do a block quote, so let's say, hey, this is a block quote. So I would use a little arrow and say, this is a block quote. Like if you're quoting somebody, you'll get sort of like this appearance. See, that's pretty nice. Okay, that's the great thing about Markdown. The idea is that there isn't much to it. Like there aren't many options, but it gives you enough that you can do some cool stuff pretty nicely. Okay, lists. Now if you want to list stuff, okay, you can just do numbers or whatnot. So let's try that. So I could do this, like this is an unordered list. And then I can do like 1, this, 2 is 3, and 4 ordered list. So let's see how it looks. And so you get the bullets with the dashes instead of the dashes, and we get the numbers. Okay. Cool. And see, it's pretty easy. Like, you're not having to do too much thinking to get the nice formatting. Okay. So we got through the lists. Okay. We're all good on this. Code blocks. We've done code blocks. Images. Let's talk about images. Okay, so let's find an image. Actually, I'll just take this one. Copy image address. Oh, no, that's not going to work the way they have it. So let's go to images. Google. Here we go. Let's just look up cheese. So let's take this picture of some cheese. Copy the image address and then mark this down. So it's like basic what it is going to be an exclamation point. What you want sort of to be the label of the image, and then in parentheses the image. So basically I go over here and let's say I want to go right below the title. I'll say exclamation point, square brackets, this is some cheese. And then in parentheses we put in the link to the image, and see it shows the cheese. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Now if you want to do like horizontal lines, you can either do 3 asterisks or 3 dashes. So let's say I wanted to do, let's go back to VS Code. And let's say we want to do some like horizontal lines between each. I can do this, 3 dashes between each block. And then for the last one, what we'll do is we'll do 3 asterisks so you can see the difference. Okay, and if I scroll down, so you see we have these horizontal lines, and see there's no difference between whether I use the asterisks or the dashes. It creates a line between each one. And it's just those little flourishes. It just breaks up your documentation, makes it a little bit easier to read. Okay. Links are kind of the same concept, except you type some text first. Okay. So you can see when I hover over this. Okay. Let's go over here. Let's create a link. This is my title, so I'll say this is my website. Alex Merced's website. And then in parentheses, http://www.alexmercedcoder.com. Also make sure to check out devnursery.com and join the community. Okay, so let's take a look at the preview. And see, it makes a link. Okay. And again, this ends up being the text of the thing. Okay. And URLs and emails. Well, I mean, those you just kind of wrap in those. I'm not going to play with that. Last thing I really want to do is just go over a table. We have tables in here. Let's do tables in Markdown. Tables in Markdown. Okay. And you see the way it works is you're going to use dashes and dotted lines. Okay. So it's all about pipes and dashes. So let's go down here and start setting up a thing. So if I were to create the title rows, hello, hi, bye. There's the pipes. Okay. Let me see here. Yep. So then I create a pipe, separate the title. Let's just see how that's looking so far. See, now we got like a nice little table here. They're like cheese. Hello. Bye. Let's see, does that line it up right? Or do I need to put dashes? Yeah, see, that works. Okay. And you can create nice little tables as well. So there's a lot you can do with, and then again, just websites like this, like tablesgenerator.com, Markdown tables. You can just use this and it'll generate the table for you. Okay, so for example, if I copy this code right here. Okay. And let's see here. Now if I bring that over here, so we get this nice little table as is. So you got tools that are accessible to you. Feel free to use them. Hopefully this makes it easier to write a Markdown file. My name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Have a great day and enjoy.